Hello? Is anybody here for my Thursday stream? Happy Mother's Day. Ha 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 ha. Happy to have you all back. Today I wanted to draw some of my role-playing game characters from previous games such as Pathfinder. I've played Dungeons and Dragons. I've played all sorts of things, but most of the characters I'm going to be doing today are from Pathfinder, and these are tabletop role-playing games, not video games, not online things or anything like that. So I will be starting shortly. I just want to make sure that the audio, the music is working. I think it is. And I think my microphone is working. Looks like my internet is buffering a little bit, so if anyone is there and they can hear music and they can hear me, definitely leave a little chat. And if you have anything to talk about regarding role-playing games or characters or other D&D related things, feel free to drop it in the comments, reach out in the Discord, and yeah, so let me get out my handy piece of paper, my blank paper, remove our very high-tech message that it's my stream, and start everyone in. Again, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I just like to draw pictures because people have asked me in the past, hey, can I watch you draw? And so I said, why not? Let's make a channel of it. At the time, I didn't always say why not. I just kind of said, I guess if you want to. And then they did. So I'm going to start out just laying out where everyone's going to go. And I'm going to describe them all to you as we start filling in details. I have been fairly active in gaming with the same group for quite a few years, at least 30 years with like some of the same core people, which is pretty awesome. And I gotta say, I am very fortunate to have a group like that. It is not common. Oh, am I putting her too high? I think I'm putting her too high. Look at that. Immediate erasing. I started off technically when I was 7. I started role-playing because my older sister played D&D with her friends. And this was back in the 80s. And yay! Aviel's here. Hi, Avi! Can you hear music? How is the music? No music. Okay. If you can hear me, but you can't hear music, that might be a me thing. I thought I'd try putting it on the headphones, use the headphones as a speaker, but I feel like For some reason, that's just not coming through Twitch. So let me try it with the speakers. I'll take out the headphones. The only problem with using the speakers on my computer is that I hear myself echo back at myself sometimes, which is kind of annoying. All right, so you hear that? Is that music coming through a little bit better? Oh, definitely be cross-stitching. Be cross-stitching, drawing, cooking, scrolling through Pinterest, whatever you feel like doing. This is a stream to put on in the background. This is not a thing that anyone needs to focus on. Oh, there I am echoing back at myself. Yay! Okay. Do you hear me echo in the background? Hello, Crackle Moon! Thank you for making it. I'm so glad to see you here. And it's really nice to be back in touch with you, too. Kind of fell out of touch for a while there. And that's kind of on me, but, I mean, we all kind of lose touch from time to time. So, it happens. So what is the nope? I see yes, hi, nope. I don't know what the yes is for, and I don't know what the nope is for. Oh, the yes is for yes, you can hear music. The nope is for no back reverb. Ophelia will be in it, but only one version of Ophelia will be in this picture. There's only room for so many in this page, so I'm going to be dropping a few characters, unfortunately. But you'll recognize, Abby is going to recognize so many of them. All right. So as I was saying, my first official experience with Dungeons and Dragons and role-playing in general I was probably 7 or 8. I don't remember exactly. My older sister was a teen or a preteen, and she was running a game with her friend. And being the little sister, the annoying little sister, I was like, oh, I want to do what you do. I want to hang out with your friends. And, like, what older sibling is like, oh, yeah, I want my little kid sister to come tag along. But in this game, she did. She was like, hey, Sue, I want you to play in this. And I loved it, other than, being the little kid. But it was the cool thing about that campaign, other than being like around all these old cool kids, was that the map was modeled after the map of the Disney World theme park, which I thought was super creative, and I still think is super creative. Oh. And my character in that game, to show you how bad I am at naming things, or at least I was when I was a kid. Like, I had stuffed toys like a mouse named Mousy and a horse named Horsey. Yep, pretty bad. My D&D character's name, I kid you not, was D&D. I named her D&D. The other teens were like, we'll just call you Dee Dee. And I was like, no, don't call me my name's D&D. And even they understood this is dumb. This little kid has no idea. And that's true. They were right. I had no idea. But my character D&D makes me cringe thinking about it. My character D&D was a thief who had a pet hawk. That was the coolest thing ever. And she and her hawk would I don't remember a ton about the campaign, but I do remember there was all this, not like Disney direct references, but like Disney adjacent references. And like at points in the game, she like they would switch off. She and her friend would switch off dungeon mastering, and they would say, um, "Out from the shadows comes a 6-foot rat wielding a yardstick like a samurai warrior." I remember that much very clearly, which evidently made an impression on me. Was I also remember there were like rows of teddy bears with diamonds for eyes, like you know a store where you would buy like plushes and stuff like that. And I remember there was a big vat of soda that looked like there were diamonds or some kind of gemstones under, like inside, and characters were diving in to try and get them. I was up at the top with my hawk, trying to drain it by drinking out with a straw. And they're like, "Yeah, okay, roll to drink." But the gems ended up being all a hologram anyway. A hologram. What's the word? Mirage hologram. I can't think of the name. The word illusion. It was an illusion. Yeah. It's been a week, guys. It has been a week. My brain is so fried. So you're going to have to bear with me. I'm a little dumber today than I should be. But that's okay. Right? That's okay. Tell me that's okay. All right. So after that, I really didn't have a whole lot of experience. There was one time I was at a youth group camping event, and I played like a dwarven cleric or something. But that was like one game, and I think my sister's game was like only two anyway. So I didn't really have a lot of role playing experience from those games. So after that, I didn't really do any gaming again until college. And that was with my core group of friends who I am like so grateful for. It wasn't a standard um, system that I learned on. It was kind of like it was called JStorm after the guy who did most of the DMing, Jay, and it was I think it was based off the Star Wars like D6 system, from what I heard. I never played Star Wars other than like maybe one or two one-offs. It was a long time ago. um Dude, I hope this. I hope. Yeah, it's still a sketch. It's still gonna be fuzzy. I just happen to look at my camera and I'm like, ooh, that looks really, really fuzzy. Anyway, so my first real character in that game was Eleonora the Centaur. I'm like, think about it. You're like, oh yeah, my first D&D character, and I pick Centaur for a race. I couldn't fit in half the buildings we went to. I couldn't They were like, "Oh, you have to climb up this sheer cliff." I'm like, "Ha ha ha ha! No, I can't even go downstairs." I made it extremely hard on myself by choosing a centaur, but that's what I wanted. I was in a centaur obsessed phase. So that's what I played, and I loved playing her. Hard as it may have been, it was definitely rewarding. Oh, this guy's talking in this song. Stop talking, guy in the song. I don't want to hear about your struggle, buddy. Go. All right. So, around this table, we've got. This is going to be Zionchek, the character that my channel and various other accounts are named after. She's a necromancer. This is going to be Micah, the first character that I played that, well, not the first character that I played that was male, but the first in Pathfinder that I played that was a male character. Barbie, the Bard Barbarian. I didn't play her for very long, but she was memorable in her own ways. This is going to be Ophelia, who I have reincarnated in many, many games. Over here, we're going to have Tova Dragon Slayer, her real name Tova Mallory. From she was a character run in the JStorm system, but not during college days. Over here is going to be Luke, my rat folk, who was originally from um, a werewolf campaign. He was a were rat. Over here is going to be my current character, one of my current characters, um, Gaja, who is a druid, an Arctic druid, and I love her so much. I love all of my characters a ton, and I'm going to be putting more in the background here, but I want to get these characters in the forefront just sketched out first. So you guys tell me, what characters have you played? What games have you played? Yeah, I'm definitely ready for the weekend to rest my brain. It's still only Thursday. So Zion Check, for those of you who don't know, Zion Check is um, a fake made up name slash word. I worked with someone who spoke Russian briefly, and I had asked him what the Russian word for bunny rabbit was, and he said Zychek, and I heard it wrong. And so from then on, I have had Zionchek as a name. And because it's not a real word, it's not actually Zychek. I can use it for anything because it's never taken, because it doesn't exist except for me. Nobody knows how to pronounce it either, so that's always fun. But it is Zionchek. And she is, I've played her a couple of times. A few of my characters just get a normal voice from me. She's one of the ones that gets a special voice. She's like a little kid, not a little kid, but she's like 13 or 14. And depending on which story, she has a pretty rough background. Like, why would a 14-year-old be a necromancer? Yeah, like some of it I got a little dark, but she's not an evil character. I'll give you that. I'll tell you that. Now you know how to pronounce Zionchek. How is the audio sounding, everybody? Am I coming in clear? Is the music coming in clear? Are the aliens coming in clear? Excellent, excellent. Thank you, Incredible Intruder. And welcome to the channel, to the stream, to the whatever this is. So, Zionjack, yes, she is a gray necromancer. Um, she prefers to let the undead or raise undead so that they can um, avenge themselves or help their families or help their adventure parties with various things. Like, just because you're dead doesn't mean you gotta just lie in the ground and rot, you know? If you still got stuff you want to do, she is all there to empower you to do it. So she's roughly sketched right here. But for her, I do a little voice, 'cause she's kind of small. Um, she's kind of perky, kind of adorable. She likes cute things. Um, for a necromancer, that's kind of fun. She's not all dark and gloomy. She's little. So that's my Zioncheck voice. And now I'm working on drawing Gotcha. I have gotten better at naming since my character D&D from the 80s. For instance, Zioncheck. And Gotcha is a take on, a Finnish take on the name Gerda, which was apparently my great grandmother's name, who I've never met, but she came from Sweden. And she had red hair, like I have red hair. Gerda. And that was the name I had when I went to Swedish camp. Yes, there is a thing such as Swedish camp. Necromancy is advanced recycling. Thank you for acknowledging that. Reduce, reuse, reanimate. Gotcha. She doesn't have a special voice so much, but she is one of the ones that I actually studied a Finnish accent. So I could do gotcha. there's a YouTuber named Annie, and she did Finis Fridays. So I would not mock her, but like mimic the way she talk. Almost died. She's very very funny. I highly recommend looking up Annie, Anni, and just if you Google or do a search on YouTube for Finnish Fridays, you'll find her. But Gaja is her outfit and her story are based off of Laplanders, the Sami people of Europe, the natives of Europe, who live in like Russia, Finland, Upper Sweden, Norway. So I thought she was super cool. It kind of gets me in my Scandinavian roots. Also, a Swedish camp thing. We learned a little bit about the Sami people and their reindeer herding and all that cool stuff. And so she's an Arctic ranger, and she has a reindeer, not familiar but animal companion named Bozu, which I believe is the Sami word for domesticated reindeer, which they have a different word for wild reindeer. Hydrate, everybody. Hydrate and stretch. Don't forget. This is for relaxing. And when we're all relaxing, you gotta actually actively relax sometimes. So that's a reminder. Stretch, yawn, drink. All right. Gaja, Gaja loves animals so much, as a druid should. She will probably get in trouble one day just trying to pet an animal that she shouldn't be petting. But because she's like, what, we're 15th level, 16th level, we're up there. She can handle herself petting most animals now, thankfully, and she's also learned restraint in all those levels, and I'm very proud of her. But she still wants to pet everything. She wants to befriend every animal. I like playing Gaja. She's also technically a teenager. She's, I think, 17, so she is 100% she's convinced that she's an adult, but in her culture and in this fantasy setting, she is an adult, so just barely. But yes, technically. But as someone who's turning 50 in a couple of weeks, I'm like, you don't know nothing at 17. Not that you don't know nothing, but there's so much life experience to still have. No, Incredible Intruder, I just want you to know there was no Muppet Swedish chef at Swedish camp, but there were chefs there because we all had to eat. And I don't know if they were Swedish or not. We weren't allowed in the kitchen. We were allowed in the dining hall, but we weren't allowed in the kitchen. So I don't know. There was no Muppets, unfortunately. There were no Swedish Muppets, which is a travesty in itself. What are you gonna do, right? So next to Gaja here is Luke the Ratkin, the rat folk. He's just a little guy, you know? Just a little guy. He was originally, like I said, a were rat in a White Wolf werewolf campaign. And he was just like this teenage kid who was just kind of like scruffy and scrappy and kind of a loser skater boy. Um, but he wasn't a bad kid, just kind of, I don't know, unambitious. Um, and Luke from Pathfinder, also not the most ambitious, but not quite the same. I don't know how to describe him. He's like, he definitely enjoys the comforts of life, which is, I mean, all of these characters are going to have a part of me, like a certain part of me, a part of my heart. That's how I can play them. If you don't understand a character, if you don't identify with a character, then you're not going to enjoy playing them, or you're not going to play them well. So every character that you do play, or you write about, or you draw even, like, you have to really understand them to do a good job. So, and they're all going to be a part of you on some level, even if it's just a little minuscule part. So Luke is my munching boy. He likes to eat, and he likes comfort. And boy, don't I identify with that. I sure do. He is a rogue character. Little guy who can get in and disarm traps and unlock things, and he doesn't weigh a whole lot, so um, he can balance on stuff a little better and scurry along walls like a little rat dude, because he's a little rat dude. Gonna give him. They're sitting around a game table. As you can see, there's the DM screen here. There's a map, and this guy's got the bag of Cheetos. Nom nom nom. Cheetos. But Gaja had to sit next to Luke because he's cute and fuzzy and she wants to pet him. In the most innocent way, don't take it the wrong way. Yeah, AD&D, I didn't understand AD&D, but I was also, again, only 8, and I was just the kid sister. Um, my older sister ran a game. I was in it, but I didn't know what the heck was going on. There's a lot of systems, honestly. I'm a terrible dungeon master because I don't know the spells that well. I don't know the rules that well. Um, that doesn't look right either. Cookies. He's got a cookie. There we go. Luke ended up with some of the coolest items in any game that I remember. he had, um, well, he, this doesn't count as an item, but he was an item with a gnome girl who, because she wanted interesting experiences in life, um, voluntarily got bitten by a were-rat. So she got lycanthropy. And so he was dating her. And she had a, a herd of fairy goats. And they were goats that were part fairy. just like you think. And they were super weird, super chaotic, but they made cheese out of them. They had fairy goat cheese, fairy goat ice cream. Like they did this little whole side business with the fairy goats, and I loved their relationship. I thought it was the most adorable thing. Um, but for his actual magic items, he had a flying carpet. It's technically the party's treasure, but he kind of kept it and used it, piloted it. And in that magic carpet, well, on that magic carpet technically, there was a portable hole. So it was just this like, let's see if I can, whoops, whoa, 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 sorry, camera, whoa, we're back. OBS disconnected, reconnecting. Oh no, did I lose you guys? Are you there? Arr. I just hit a thing. All right, we're reconnected now, it says. Whoops. I'm a little clumsy here. I moved my arms, I flailed around a little bit, and I lost you for a minute. Are you there? Are you there? Oops, oops. All right. Looks like we're back on track. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. Okay, so I was chatting about my little buddy Luke here, and how he had a magic carpet, and I'm going to draw this out. He had basically a flying carpet, this is the carpet flying, little tassels on it, and he had a portable hole which you could put on the carpet, and people could go inside it, and basically it would be like this little area where people could go and hang out, but it wasn't actually here. It was this magical separate dimension. So it was just as flat as the carpet. And he just sit up here being all cute. Yay, look at me, I'm flying on a carpet. Woo! And with his magic spoon. Yeah, he had a magic spoon. That was one of his favorite magic items. Yay. You like my picture? It's pretty good, isn't it? Yay, he's got a little vest because he's a gentleman. So good. It's so good. Anyway, so he had a magic spoon that once a day, I think, could fill a bowl. Like there is a magic item that is, you could fill a bowl with gruel that could feed a grown man for a day or something. And he paid extra to change it from gruel to mac and cheese. So he had his magic mac and cheese spoon. The spoon would make a bowl full of mac and cheese that could feed a grown man, and he was like, that's not enough. I'm hungry. I'm basically a hobbit. Yes, yes, but what about second mac and cheese? There we go. So he's got his chubby little cheeks here. And Gotcha thinks it's adorable that he's just chowing down on cookies. His hands don't look right here. Why don't they look right? What the heck am I doing? What's going on? He's eating a cookie. He's eating a cookie. That's what it is. He needed to have his arms down. Yum, yum, yum. I like cookies. And he has big old bag of Cheetos over here. Cheetos, Cheetos, Cheetos. They must be just starting the game. That's why the bag is so full. Cheetos. Okay. So we've got Zion, Jack, and Gotcha, and Luke, who I didn't give him a special voice. He's still a special boy. Yeah, we gotta have Mountain Dew here somewhere. We're gonna have various cans of soda and bottles. Oh, well, he's gonna get a bottle of beer. Micah over here. Speaking of which, let's draw Micah. I really liked playing Micah. He's a sorcerer with blue dragon lineage. Gonna move my little sketchy sketch. He started off as just a human-y sorcerer, and I kind of haphazardly picked Blue Dragon, or Dragon, yeah, Blue Dragon as his lineage. And as we were playing and as he leveled up as a sorcerer, he got slightly more dragony. He started getting scales and horns and wings, wingy dingies. But he didn't start out that way. He started off just looking just like a dude. But he started off as an alcoholic dude. I started him off with a whole lot of baggage. He grew up kind of in an orphanage. Well, yeah, I mean, he grew up in an orphanage because his mother was a prostitute, and he didn't know who his father was because of that, and he developed a lot of drinking problems and not a whole lot of support growing up. So it was nice to see him develop his own sense of self and to have the party rally around him at times. But there were a lot of goofy things that went on with Micah. He was a goofy kind of character. Oh boy, he is sitting low on the table. The table is really high for all of them, it seems. Yeah, and he's got an arm over her. I'm going to give him a bottle of beer because it's a fantasy game and he learned how to drink responsibly. Sure, we'll go with that. Or maybe it's root beer. Who knows? It's fantasy beer. Das Bier. He also did not get a special voice or a special accent. Um, and I didn't really have any other backstory with him, but he did end up getting um, the campaign that we played him with had a lot to do with the seven deadly sins, and he ended up being, was it gluttony? I think it was gluttony, not because of food, not because of like alcohol consumption or anything, but because of how many scrolls and magic books, like wizard's books, that he accumulated over the course of the campaign. He had stacks on stacks. I was like, dang. And he was, I think, the only magic user that could use arcane spells in the campaign. So I was like, no one else could use them. So I'm like, well, more for me. So it was kind of cool. Like, dude, I can be as greedy as I want, and it's good. It's good for us for me to be greedy. Yes. He looks a little big-headed, a little out of proportion, but you know what? That's fine. We're about imperfection here. Oh my gosh, I'm hearing myself coming back in the speakers again. So how is this stream? Is it getting too fuzzy for anybody? Does it keep going in and out of focus because of my hand? Um, if it is, well, sorry, I don't know how to fix that. I don't. I want to know, but I don't know. Micah, I really like him as a character. He's just a genuine dude. He loves the ladies. Trying to move my hand so that you can, if you are watching and you're actually paying attention, which, no need for that. Just keep it on in the background when you feel like zoning out to it. But yeah, I want to give you something interesting to look at. He doesn't need to. He's giving a little bit of a sympathetic smile to our next character over here. Poor Barbie, the Barred Barbarian. She was a fun idea, and the dice hated her. I wanted to play basically like a cheerleader bard who was also this like warrior barbarian type. So she was like, she had a big megaphone and she had flails instead of pom poms, and she wore like little studded leather mini skirt kind of thing, little cheerleader uniform, and she was an adorable design. And I loved her, and her like to her bardic performance was cheering, and honestly, like to me that made sense. Like it gives the characters boosts when you do bardic performances. So I figured well, first and 10, do it again, go, go. So she would do stuff like that. And the dice just straight up hated her. I'm like, okay, I'll do a barbarian thing. Maybe they'll like that better. Nope, dice hated her. Oh, I'll do a bardic performance. Nope, dice hated her. She didn't. I don't think she died, but she didn't have a lot of success in anything she did. She was otherwise just. I don't think she was a half elf. I think she was just a human. Just a human, you know. There are a lot of people that won't play humans because why would I play a human? I'm already a human. Humans suck. And I get that. I totally get that. I tend to play humanies. Human, basically a human, human, elf. So I'm familiar with being a human, so that's why I do it. But I fully respect people who want to play other things. And I do play other things, like I mentioned before, my centaur, who is going to be John back here. So, what do we got? What do we got? This is Barbie just being sad that her character in whatever game this is probably just bit it. And she's like, Blackleaf, no. And if anyone gets that reference, I'm both sorry and you're my people. If you don't get that reference, it's from a Jack Chick comic about how D&D is evil, and it's really stupid. I'll have to send you a link. Remind me at the end of the stream if you want to know anything about it. But Jack Chick, spelled just how it sounds, Chick. It's worth mocking. It's the dumbest thing ever. Is it very like anti a lot of things and pro. It's supposed to be like, oh, Jesus is great, D&D is evil. These two things don't have to be mutually separate, you know. You can like D&D and Jesus, you know. You don't have to have one or the other. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not the person to tell you what to do, to what to believe. Anyway, so here we're here to talk about just the fantasy stuff, just the game stuff. So over here, I am drawing. In my sketch, I have one more character, but I can't fit her in because I resized them all incorrectly. But that's okay. This is Tova Dragonslayer, who I gave a German accent to. So Tova. Well, now I'm doing Finnish. What some of the... Oh, come on, hop, hop. That was the thing that she said all the time because that's what my German teacher said all the time. Come on, hop, hop. She was straight up warrior type. She fought with a halberd. Super cool character. I love her a lot. I think she had a medallion that later in the game when we were high level, she used to turn into a Valkyrie, which is so cool. Ding dang cool. I'm drawing her reading a book of rules and probably spells, because she's like, I don't know how to do wizard stuff. Let me read these spells. Ha ha ha. I like to think about these characters all playing, you know, something that they're not. Other than Zionchek, who is in charge of who lives and who dies. Though that's technically on the dice. So many games that I've played, so many characters. There was one year for Inktober, I decided I'm just going to do art cards of role-playing characters. And since October has 31 days, you'd be drawing 31 characters. And I'm like, oh, gee, I hope I have enough to not do duplicates. And, oh, yes, I did. I had enough. And then change. And that was before I think I even made Gaja. Which is pretty cool. I'd forgotten so many of these characters, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I had this one too, and oh yeah, that's right, I had this one too. So when I was planning this picture, I just kind of picked my favorites at the moment. Not to say that I disliked the others, but I had to pick somebody. And I had to pick Zionchek, who's in charge, because that's the name of the channel. That's the name of the name, and she's not one who would. She's someone who would DM very well, I think, because she's pretty fair about life and death, and she's not evil. Despite being a necromancer, she's not evil. Alright, so we have Tova Dragonslayer. Yeah, Tova. She's cool. Come on, hop hop. She did kill Afank. Or Afank. Got in its mouth and everything. Like, it was a rough battle, but they all called it a dragon, so since she slayed it, she got the title. Avi was in that game, and her character was Liban, which is a very fun character I think about from time to time as well. I know she thinks about her too. Liban. Who else we got? Oh yeah, there was Gwyddy. In this game, there was Liban, Gwydion, who was the bard. Who else was there? There was. We had a dwarf, Borgar Flatnose, and we had. Oh my goodness! Now I'm blanking. He was a Thaddeus, who was a Reman soldier, which is like Roman soldier, but Romulus and Remus. He was Reman. And the guy who was playing him named Tad. So Thaddeus. I thought it was really cute. Anyway, I know you're all probably like, oh yeah, I don't know any of these people. What are you talking about? You know, I gotta talk. That's my job tonight. And so here I go, talking. telling you all about these glorious characters. And poor Barbie. Blackleaf, no. So over here, I am going to draw Ophelia. A few of you may have seen Ophelia before. I like to draw her a lot because she is so pretty. I've put her in so many different incarnations. First one that I played, she was a roguish, bardish type, I think. Oh, her head looks big right here. I'm gonna make that a little smaller. Her ears look a little much. She was part of a gypsy caravan, which I know is not the political term anymore. It was, she was kind of doing the fortune teller thing and dancing and performing for money. And she's a dark elf. She's a drow, but she's like a surface drow. So she's not like a loath, underdark, evil type drow. And this little, she always has this headband, but it's her own hair braided to wrap around her forehead like that. I saw it in a magazine one time that, you know, someone had their hair braided into a headband like that, and I thought it was cool. So there we go. That's how that came about. I always give her the same earrings, these little triangle-y things. She gets an off the shoulder kind of blouse. She's a very elegant character. So yeah, the first iteration of her, she's kind of money grubbing, kind of deceptive, kind of, you know, like swindly type character. And she teamed up with someone from another team, another like adventure party, and we had to get a treasure, but we had to, like, two characters had to get married for the puzzle to be done or the trap to be like not, that wouldn't go off. And so she and some other guy were like, yeah, all right, let's get married. And then something happened and they got blessed by some dragon spirit, and she turned into a dragon, which I don't remember that. Again, it was like close to 30 years ago. So I don't remember. There have been a lot of games and things to remember since then. This was back in J-Storm, is when Ophelia first made her debut. Since then, since J-Storm, she has had, I played her in a Dark Sun campaign. I played her in a Pathfinder campaign in, where was it? What is it called? You know, if I'm going to be talking on a stream, I should probably have a brain with me. But that didn't happen today. Ustalav, that's what it was. She was in a campaign in Ustalav in the Pathfinder world. Not that means a whole lot to most people, but now you know. She doesn't have like the crazy long ears, so I'm only keeping them at a reasonable ear length. I had also made her, I don't remember where I made her a cleric of Gahunadar, which I think that's how you pronounce it. That's the god of slimes and oozes. Like having her live underground and just doing mad chemistry type weird culty stuff, which I thought was kind of funny because she's so pretty and it's like the god of slimes and oozes. Okay, if that's what you want to do, or goes, you weirdo. This is Barbie's hand, and Ophelia's like, well, sorry, you died. So we've got little figurines on the table. Yay! Did. What's that? Dragon figure. Blah. All right. So I think I'm ready to start putting more characters in the background here. But yeah, I like using Ophelia as like a little fashion plate. She's just so pretty. I like her brown skin and her creamy white hair. It's like an off-white ivory color to her shimmery soft hair. So pretty, so pretty. So that looks like about right now. All right, so back here, I'm gonna have Eleonora, my centaur. I love drawing centaurs. I really do. I'm probably gonna do a stream one of these days of just like doing centaur stuff. I'm gonna move this camera just a little. There we go. So we can see more of glorious Eleonora. And she's gonna be, I don't know. I was thinking about having other characters interacting with her. Eleonora was an archer and a bodyguard, and she detested wearing clothes. She was like, oh, that's for bipedals. That's because they're just ashamed of their own bodies, and that's not for me. And that's definitely, like, you know, you say this something, your character have identify with your characters on some level. I don't identify with that part of Eleonora. I definitely don't. I like clothes. I like wearing clothes. I don't I don't have a desire to be nude often like like she did. Well, yeah, Venus flytrap living vamp. What, Audrey? Yeah, I could put in Audrey. I was thinking about putting in Audrey from the Vampire game, Peggy from BattleTech game. Um, I do have a shapeshifter character who was in a Pathfinder game, and she was really cool because she specialized in magic missile. There were rules for it to be a magic missile mage, and I thought that would be fun, and it turns out it was. I was a machine gun, but because she was a shapeshifter, I that's definitely the power I want. If I got mutant powers, I'd want to be Mystique's like equal when it comes to shapeshifting. Oh, it sounds so cool. But at the same time, I get it. Like people aren't gonna trust you or um, understand you, and maybe you lose part of who you are. But I don't know. It sounds so cool. I was thinking about having Erlissa, who is my a cleric, a war priest of Gozra, having her trying to fight Audrey, who is the vampire from our Vampire the Masquerade campaign, and just Eleonora being a bouncer holding them apart. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. Why not? My two, like, probably most competitive characters just being catty at each other. Oh my gosh, Abby, that is an excellent power to turn food that's bad for you into healthy stuff for your body. That sounds like an ideal superpower. I would love that mutation. Junk food junkie. I love junk food so much. That's that part of me. The junk food. I gotta get fighting stances for them. Alyssa was a skinny little character. Very wiry, very like I didn't have a whole lot in common with her, but I like she was fun to play. She was shallow and catty, but at the same time, things meant a lot to her. Like she felt things very deeply. Um, Erlissa is a an air genasi or genasi, however it's pronounced. I'm not sure. Uh, and she was a pirate captain, and she co-captained with her twin brother Avin, and they were like at dual aspects of the nature god Gozra, god slash goddess. Gozra could change gender and appearance and what have you, which also super cool. I'm all for that. But Airlissa was very, like, greedy, very self-centered, very, like, she'd start arguments just to be a bitch about it. Which is very much, I don't think I'm like that. I try not to be like that if I am, but I'm pretty sure I'm not like that. I avoid confrontation. So maybe that's what I was going for, was like, let's try and find someone who's hot-headed, where I'm like, oh no, a confrontation is bad. Another thing that I didn't identify with was how tiny and skinny she was. Because I am not a tiny or skinny person. What is this music? This is like way dramatic music, which I don't need right now. No, we don't need that. Sure, we'll take this, whatever this is. So here we go with Eleonora. And she's like, yo, girls, calm down. What's the beef? Why are you like this? Why are you the way that you are? I think part of my motivation with Airlissa's combativeness is that I wanted to come up with a cool soundtrack for a character. And I've heard so many cool breakup songs. And I'm like, oh, none of my characters have, like, bad breakups or, like, relationship drama. So I kind of based her on that. I think, at least in part. And oh boy, she had relationship drama. She made poor choices and made it everyone's problem. Alright. And she's like, I'm a war priest. I'm a war priest of a nature god and you're undead. I hate you so much. You, vampire. Alright, everyone, hydrate. Hydrate. Stretch. Stretch, yawn, hydrate. Oh! Unclench your jaw. Roll out your shoulders. This is a night for relaxing your body so that you can relax your mind. When your body holds tension, your brain holds tension. Thinks, oh, well, your body's tense for a reason, right? I must be alert for things. And similar, when your brain is tense, your body's like, well, I have to stay tense in case something happens. So if you relax your body and then try to relax your brain just by zoning out, you're doing yourself a favor. Holding on to tension ain't gonna do you no good. And hydrating is always a good choice. You never know when being dehydrated is going to be a problem. Just take a sip. Doesn't have to be water, but not booze, not caffeine. take a sip. Alright, so she's sufficiently angry at the vampire. Oh, I hate you, you vampire. You jerk. Ah. That's not how she sounded. She just had my normal voice. Poor Eleonora. She's the big one, so she has to be the bouncer. Oh no. No, we're moving on from this song. We want not this song. Not this song at all, please. So you guys drawing anything tonight or making any new characters yourselves for games or working on any campaigns of your own? I'd love to hear. Hopefully in a couple weeks I'll be playing Gacha again. That's very exciting because I have not seen my friend Abby Cat in quite a few weeks because she done broke her foot. Poor kitty. Poor kitty. Don't break your foot. Too late, but don't do it. All right. This Audrey. Audrey was my Malkavian in Vampire the Masquerade, and I think that was the first time I had ever played Vampire the Masquerade. I think. And so, yeah, I played Audrey, who wasn't like crazy. She was like, I'm in love with my brother crazy. And she wasn't even from an anime. So, you know, it was like creepy. You know, it was unhealthy. But she was cray cray. And she had a little Batman shirt. I remember in that campaign, my husband was playing a gargoyle named Willem, and our base was an RV with all the windows blacked out, and we got this really cool, like, tricked out, fancy RV home. And I remember my friend, Abby's husband, Jeff, his character, I can't remember his name, but he loved knives. Was his name Hector? What was his name? But I remember the knives. He'd lick those knives, and that was the same campaign, right? It's crazy to think about how many characters I've had, and I know Abby has had at least twice that many. Whenever I'm drawing modern day clothes, I always love drawing Converse high tops. That's I can't wear them anymore because I need arch support, but like I love high tops. I love Converse. They're cool. Ugh. Eleanor's all like, ugh, ladies, chill out. Alright, you get self-censoring hair. And a quiver. Little vampire fangs. Today. I'm a vampire. My online friend Larva knows how cool Malkavians are. Malkavians are kind of my favorite of the vampires. And I'm learning Spanish randomly. This is totally like is related, I promise. I was watching 31 Minutos, which is an amazing puppet show from Chile. A spoof on 60 Minutes, but 31 minutes. And I learned that the word bruja is witch. And that made me immediately think of the vampire clan of Brujas. And I'm like, oh, witches. I never put the two together before. I thought Bruja was like, brutal. I thought they were just like harsh, brutal types. Because I wasn't thinking in Spanish terms because I didn't know. How would I know? Alright, so who else? Who else can I fit in here? Oh yeah, this. I could have Peggy and Peggy looking over Zionchek's shoulder. Peggy had a southern accent, and she was from a BattleTech campaign. She was my Scorpion mech pilot. One of the things about her that I didn't identify with was that she smoked. Definitely something I've never wanted to do, never done. Not my thing. Not smoking anything. I'm gonna give her a can of something. Can of Canopus beer. Now to draw a cowboy hat from this angle. What have I done to myself? Oh my god. What have I done to myself? I am not doing this angle. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a reference pulled up. So it's not happening at the moment. She's going to be in the background chatting with another character of mine. How's that? She can be chatting with Lolita, my magic missile mage, because they have similar little flippy hair. Oh, and Raquel. I could put Raquel in there. She's also got flippy white hair. Oh my gosh. Mm. Yeah, I only know cowboy hats from certain angles, and I'm still not great at them. Oh, cowboy hats, what are you doing to me? My scorpion pilot. Oh, oh, that doesn't look right at all. That's way too high. Draw, draw, draw. I like to draw. I'm not always good at it, but I like to do it. I've said it many times, and I will continue to say it many times. You don't have to be good at it to enjoy doing it. I know a friend of mine who has been doing it recently a lot, and like having a blast. It doesn't have to be anything that makes you money. It doesn't have to be anything that you put in a museum. It doesn't even have to be anything you show anyone else. If you're having fun doing it, do it. If you're not having fun with it, obviously, don't force yourself to do it. But don't stop doing it because you're not good at it. It's okay to say you don't like doing it. But don't, if you really like doing it, by all means, do it. Oh, I could put Bunny in there. I could put Bunny in there. Bunny and, even though I didn't play her, I could put in Polynegra, which I draw all the time and I have commissioned all the time. But maybe I'll do her in a totally different picture. I still gotta color this. So I'm gonna put Raquel in here. She's very shy. She was a ranger. Also similar to Gaja, loved animals, wanted to pet every animal. She was a vegan and kind of like not a cleric, but definitely revered the nature goddess of the game. She was from back in college with the J Storm games. Which is not a system that I use that my friends and I use anymore, but it's definitely a system that has a lot of nostalgia for me, and it was only a homebrew, so nobody else knows what I'm talking about unless you played it. But it was fun. It was a lot of. Was it perfect? No. Was it always like a blast in the moment? No. But were there good memories involved with it? Yes. Definitely good memories. No campaign is 100% fun 100% of the time. Some of it is a grind. Some of it is, like, oh no, my character died. Thankfully, I haven't had that happen too often. My characters generally haven't died. But yeah, I have had one die, like earlier. Was it this year or at the end of last year? I had a sorceress I made. Uh, oh, what was her name? Her name was Baby. I had a weird backstory for Baby. What with her name being Baby. She's a baby. Maybe I have to draw Baby now. I don't know. Baby and Bunny together. What a weird one. Sure. I'll have Baby and Bunny chatting over here. Bunny and Baby. Baby was a Dampier, which is a half vampire. Her dad was a vampire. Her mom was a fortune teller. And uh, her mom died in childbirth. Well, with her daughter being half vampire, the mom being just a human. And um, so baby inherited her fortune telling cards, but never learned how to use them because the mom died in childbirth. And no one else knew how to use them. And the dad was like super interested in the mom, and but then when she died, he was like, well, I don't know what to do with this kid now. And he kind of like became obsessed with mermaids around that time. And so he was like, oh, well, why don't you take care of my baby mermaids? And so they did. They took care of her. She could be out in the sun, but like she couldn't breathe the water like the mermaids. She wasn't a full vampire. To do I don't, it was really weird. So she had these fortune telling cards and didn't know how to use them, so she ended up using them like Yu-Gi-Oh cards, thinking that's how she cast spells. And so she'd pull out a card and I cast uh, Ray of Frost or whatever the spell was. And unfortunately, like, so she had a beach aesthetic because she was raised by mermaids essentially. She was half vampire and she was like a Yu-Gi-Oh spellcaster. So she was really weird. And then she died because a black dragon melted her face off. And I've been working at finding a character to replace her. And I have one now, and I have not played him yet. Um, God, now I'm trying to decide what is Raquel wearing. Yeah, she was poor baby. I forgot that Raquel had like a little porcupine friend with big eyes who was kind of like a little sloth. And she had a little sash. Oh my gosh, it's going to be forever to ink and color this. Raquel was also there. I know I'm jumping around all over the place. Raquel was an albino. Um, so she had red or pink eyes depending on the light. And she was in a campaign with a character that my husband was playing when I first got into role playing. When I first started playing Eleonora, my husband's character was Gray Taranson, and he played Gray forever. That guy, like, had the worst luck. He became really jaded because of it. All the cards stacked against him, but he didn't give up. But I know Gray holds a special place in his heart still of favorite characters. Um, I'm just trying to decide what everybody's wearing. I had there was a game I ran for a little while. It was a very loose system. It was called Teenagers from Outer Space. It was the first game book that I was gifted, and it was from my husband and all his high school friends. They gave me the book of the Teenagers from Outer Space game, and it was basically you play an anime character in an anime world, and like hijinks ensue. You're basically a bunch of high schoolers, and it's supposed to be just silly and goofy. And I was the DM technically, which didn't involve a lot of skill. It just involved a lot of me going, yeah, that's funny, let's do it. My friend Avi played an angel who dyed her hair and her wings black, and she was all goth. Lilith. My husband played a witch boy who wore a baseball cap and rode around on a broom um, like a skateboard, and his name was Sam Hain, which was adorable. And I originally played a character that was kind of like a pink-haired lum, so she was kind of aggressive and kind of she wasn't very like I didn't identify with her much. So I moved over to this character Bunny, who's kind of ditzy, kind of clueless. She's like the bimbo cheerleader, which also I'm like the she's the character I identify with more because I'm kind of ditzy. I've never been a cheerleader, but I like cheerleaders. And she's clueless and naive and adorable, and I'm like, yep, that's I am all about those things. Those are some of my favorite traits for anyone to have. Oh, now I gotta remember what baby looked like. I drew her like twice, and then she died. And I could have put Chigao in here. I can put her probably in here. But I still have to color this. I still have to ink this and color it. My goodness, is it full. There's a lot of characters on this page. Well, I got myself into this mess. And Bunny's like, oh my gosh, I wouldn't have no idea that you were a half vampire. And baby's like, yeah, I guess I am. Whatever. Oh, and the reason she's named Baby is because when the mom was pregnant with her, and the vampire was like, ugh, I'm no longer interested in this woman. Well, when she's pregnant, she's just not the same anymore. I'm gonna go be interested in mermaids. Then the mom dies, and then he's like stuck with this child, and he's like, I don't know what to name her. I guess her name is Baby. That's what I call her. It's Baby. And so there she is, Baby. It made for interesting gameplay, for sure, to for the DM to be like, okay, Baby. I know he felt awkward calling me Baby. And I think that's the funniest thing. I don't do things deliberately to make DMs feel awkward, but it's always funny when it happens. Hey, baby. So everyone's kind of got just like a hint of a body behind here. I don't know what I was thinking putting everyone back here. Oh no. Alright, back here is my character Chigao, which is the Japanese word for wrong. It's incorrect. And has she came about from just an interesting character story. Um, I want I wanted to come up with an interesting backstory for a character. So she is an isekai character, but not. Well, she's a reincarnated character. I was like, oh, I want to have someone who is isekai into this fantasy world. Well, she got killed by a deep dragon, but in her previous incarnation, who was a guy and a cleric. Um, and the party didn't have enough to bring him back, so they had him resurrected. Or not resurrected, reincarnated, whatever it was. That it was. He's not in his body. He was brought back in a new body, and randomized to a. He went from a celestial, not celestial. What's the word? Not tiefling. Someone who was like half celestial, to someone who was half demon and half like Oni. So she has red skin and white eyes and this big horn on her forehead. So going from being a male to being a female, going from being an Asimar, that's the word, an Asimar, which is half celestial, to a tiefling, which is a half demon. It was a very jarring experience for the character, but that's how I started the campaign, um, with this backstory. And so Chigao is trying to navigate a whole new life, find a whole new party, and also she thought she was a cleric. Like, she was a cleric in the previous incarnation of her life, but praying to the same goddess, it yielded no results. So she realized, oh no, I'm not a cleric anymore. And she became, she realized she was a sorcerer at that point. So a whole life change for this character, which I feel bad for her, but at the same time I feel proud of her for navigating a lot of this, like, new things. And I think everyone identifies with that on some level when you're trying to find who you are, or how you've changed, because everyone changes through their life, and it's not always an easy thing to understand, or um, to figure out, why am I like this, or what do I do about this. So that, I think, is what Chigao represents for me. And she's not the happiest of characters, but she gets by. I didn't get to play her too much. Like, I don't think we got too high level. My goodness, there's a lot of characters on this page. What is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 15 characters? Ding dang. It's a lot. Yeah, thank you, Drakili. I hope I'm saying your name right. Or Drakli? Um, yeah, the goddess was like, I didn't ditch you, but you got stuff to do in this new incarnation of who you are. It's kind of a test of faith, a kind of a um, less of a thumbing the nose up at the character and more of a trial, I guess. You know, there's always those like gods and fates are always so mean. All right, hydration break. I think we're ready to ink. I'm not gonna touch them for now. I'm just getting the foreground characters for now. Who knows if we'll get to ink coloring any of this tonight, because it's already been 2 hours. And I still have to go to work tomorrow. So I think maybe once we ink it, that's going to be it for the night. I really appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. I'm not actually doing this for money or for views or for, you know, I'm not like looking to become a streamer full time. I just think of it like if I were a Pathfinder gnome. I'm doing it because it's interesting and I want to stop what they call the bleaching. And that's when things get so boring that the color just starts to seep out of you. And I don't want that in my life, so I just keep trying to find new and interesting ways to have fun. And this seemed like a cool and fun, interesting thing to do. And the fact that you guys want to come along and watch this it means a lot. It's really kind of neat. I hope I'm not boring or weird or awkward with the stuff I'm talking about or the way I'm so super disjointed when I'm talking, because I'm basically talking to myself, which still not great at doing, at least not in a coherent way, but I'm trying. And it's a fun challenge. I like it. I'm having fun doing this. I look forward to doing this. This is only my second stream, but I am having a good time, and I look forward to, I have more planned out already. I'm like inspired to do different ones. And I'm next week my plan is to do 5-minute sketches, and I'm going to be taking requests in chat. So think about what you might want a 5-minute sketch of, and I am going to be setting a timer, which I will have on screen, so you can see that it's only 5 minutes. I'm going to be asking in the Discord, which there should be a link to down underneath this video here. There's a link to the Discord. You're welcome to come and join. If the link for whatever reason doesn't work, my name on Discord is Zion Check, which is the same as this channel. So, in the name of her, Zion Check. So feel free to DM me, reach out, go to my website, sue-chan.com. My email's on there. My artwork's on that website too, if you wanted to look at any of my other artwork if you haven't. I'm assuming most of you are here because you know me through art. So you've probably seen all of it. And if you have, thank you for that support too. You guys are awesome. I said it right. Yay. And I think next week when I do the 5-minute sketches, it's going to be me chatting in between the drawings so that I can fully focus on the art. So you're going to have 5-minute swaths of just music and me being silent. So if you're just tuning in to unwind and just have some chatter in the background while you relax for the evening, then hopefully that's the content you're looking for to relax to. That's kind of what I was thinking. Like it would be relaxing to have just something on in the background. That's what I do when I'm drawing. I just have stuff on in the background. I listen to my YouTube or Twitch channels. I put movies on sometimes too. This past weekend, I watched Rock and Rule again, which I hadn't seen in quite a long time. But I remember I watched that a ton when I was a kid. And it's definitely not a movie for children, but it's a cartoon, so people thought it was a movie for children. Well, I'm glad streams sometimes do help you with feeling a little less lonely, because we are all out here together. Even if we're not in the same room, we're in the same world, we're in the same universe, and we're, getting through the same life. So it does feel like someone else is in the room with you when you get to hear somebody else. You get to like kind of hang out separately together, which is a very unique thing to the times. I think about this a lot. I think about, you know, um, throughout history, all the different technology in different times and what it would be like. Like what is different now than other times in history. Like I think about how for so long with humanity there was no running water even. Like there was no indoor plumbing. And it's like, oh my God, I couldn't live without indoor plumbing. And now it's there's access to so many things in the world just from having the internet, which when the internet was new for me, it was like, I don't even know what we'll use this for, but we use it for everything: communicating, entertainment, education. We use it for everything. And now we've become so super dependent on it. Not that we can't go without it. Obviously, some people have more addictive tendencies than others. But as a species, we can, you know, we don't need it for survival. There have always been, you know, people who'll cook you food and grow the food and make clothes and, you know, do mechanical things. But it's such a different time than it ever was in history. And I kind of think it's really neat that we can be connected to each other in that way. That we can learn about games like this and learn about each other, and um, that we can make up characters and we have access to so much music, yet this music is really not what I'm looking for. So look at that. I can go to the next song. There's so much music. People in like 1100 didn't have access to so many songs. No, they just had whatever the bard was playing down the street or whatever tune they could come up with themselves. It's like, oh, dude, we live in times that we just have access to so much. And I love it. We have access to each other. And I love that. Does anyone else think about that stuff? Like living in ye olden times. Like when things get rough now, you're like, well, at least I have running water. Or at least I have, you know, pizza places. They didn't have that back then. I'm sure they had tasty food, like at taverns and stuff like that, but come on. Pizza. Pizza. Chocolate. Like, so many modern luxuries are so good. Gah. We didn't have, water didn't have legs yet. I'm not sure what that means, but, you know, yeah. Dova. I think one of the things that motivated me to want to do these streams, especially the fact that I'm doing them on paper in front of a camera rather than a digital drawing, which I don't know how to do art digitally. I don't understand the programs. But then it's because I haven't put the time in to understand. So that's entirely on me. I probably could learn if I wanted to, but I don't feel that motivated for it. But with all the artificial intelligence and AI created content out there, um, rather than be like, oh, I hate AI, I hate that it's taking this away from people and that away from people, I'm decided, you know what? It's not taking anything away from me. I'm going to just keep making more. And I fully encourage all of you to do the same thing and be like, oh, look, there's an AI generated image. I could probably do worse, but at least it would be made by a person. So make it. Do the thing. If you read a terrible AI written script, write your own terribly written script. Come up with like something to prove that it's not taking anything away from us. We can still do all these things. And we should. We have one life. Create as much as you can on this life. It doesn't have to be good. Just have fun with it. Don't give it the power to take anything away from you, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And I'm not letting it take anything away from me. I'm creating these characters, I'm creating this art, I'm creating this content, and I'm creating these friendships. And I think that's pretty dang awesome. I'm truly enjoying it. So thank you for coming along with me as I do these things. It's all very imperfect. But who cares? Who cares? Perfect is boring. Perfect is the enemy of the good. All my characters here are also imperfect in their existence. They've all got their issues. They've all got their problems. They've all got their flaws. Some more than others. Ophelia gets to have flaws in multiple universes. But she'll never tell you what they are. Sanchik telling Barbie, ha, your character died. You missed the trap. And a monster comes and kills your character. Wah! And Barbie's all like, why? I'm so sad. My dice suck. And it's true. I switched dice for her and everything. I tried so hard to fix Barbie's dice problem. But no, alas, they constantly rolled poorly no matter what I did. And for those of you who weren't here earlier, Barbie, who is crying on the table here, was my bard barbarian. And Cheerleader was her bardic performance. She dressed like you would imagine a barbarian cheerleader might. The leather pleated miniskirt. She had a big megaphone cone. And she used flails instead of pom-poms. And she was just bad at everything because the dice hated her. Ooh, what fan fiction are you writing, Crackle Moon? What fandom and where can we read it? Because please send it. I want to read it. I love fan fiction. I'm not very good at writing fan fiction. Fan fiction, yes, that's a word. But I do love reading it. Yeah, I guess water couldn't run without evolving legs. I get where. Okay. Yep. That's the bunny in me going, oh, I get it. Yep. I'm a little slow on the uptake. Do do do. Running water. Yeah. That's the joke. Yeah. I get it. Herp-a-derp. This, I mean, that is funny. It is funny, especially now that I get it. Oh, Micah. I love you, Micah. You're a fun character. He has been brought back in games as a high level NPC who has a magic shop called the Blue Scales because he is part a sorcerer with blue dragon heritage. So he has some blue scales, but it's scales like balancing scales. And he sells scrolls and magic items and magic books and things like that. Because in his game, he accumulated more scrolls and more books than any other character I have ever played in my life. Dude was loaded. And I made weird, silly fan art of him so many times. Abby knows what I'm talking about. Ooh, Avatar Last Airbender fanfiction? Yay. Shipping. Yay. Big fan. I know more about Avatar from the fans, like the whole fandom of it, than actually watching it. I've watched some of it, but not enough. And I think that I feel I am that way with Harry Potter, with SpongeBob, with like whether it's memes or fandoms. I learned a lot about My Little Pony through the fandoms, and then I got into the show. Um, so that one I know a lot more now. But there are a lot of things I've learned through fandoms. People who write the fan fiction, people who come up with lore, people who come with original characters, or just, wax poetic about their favorite characters and their favorite ships and their favorite lore. And I love that stuff. And like the fans always make something more alive to me than the actual property usually. Usually, obviously, there's probably exceptions to that, but like I I've seen people cosplay um, original characters at at Dragon Con. There was cosplay of the Cabbage Guy, and there were three girls dressed as his cabbages. They had like little bunny ears, and like they had little green, bathing suit type outfits, and they were all sitting on a cabbage cart. It was the cutest thing. And I'm like, I get that reference, even though I haven't really watched the show. I'm like, okay, my cabbages. That's super cute. I'll have to show you. I'll have to send you a photo of that. Um, the Cabbage Girls and the oh, it's so funny. But that's what I mean. Like the fans will make anything so much more lively than the actual thing. They'll take what's good about it and then make it more. And the fact that you're writing fan fiction like tells me it's more. It's good, but then more good. So I would like to read some of it, please. I don't need to do book details too much. But this is my art brain. I'm like, oh, let's do unnecessary details. Ha ha ha. Let's draw on the Cheetos bag. Little Luke is just so cute. He's such a lazy little snacky little guy. Make his cheeks all poofy. Little crumbs. Because he's a messy little eater, too. And that's why God's like, aw, he's so cute. And he's like, nom, 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 nom. And poor Barbie. Why? Why? It's supposed to be her ear, and that does not look right. But whatever. That's fine. It doesn't have to. And then we've got Ophelia. I love Ophelia too. I love all my characters. This is why I wanted to draw them. I love them all so much. They all have a special place in my heart and in my art. Like, I want to draw them each for different reasons. Like, some of them are kind of coming out like funky looking, but that's, I mean, There's 15 of them on the page. There's only so much detail I'm going to get right. And I'm doing this while I'm trying to talk to y'all. So right there, got some factors up against me that are not quite right. But that's okay. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm still giving them love and introducing you all to who they are. And I think that's worth something. I just realized those are the genie's earrings that I usually do, not Ophelia's earrings. But you know what? That's fine. There's a genie I draw from time to time. Excuse me. Hydrate. I draw a red-haired genie. And she's always got very similar jewelry and hairstyles and stuff like that. I try to mix up her fashion a bit, but she does have, like, you know, certain signature pieces and certain signature looks about her. You know, you gotta have some continuity. Drawing this at an angle is a little odd too. So does anyone have any weekend plans? Oh, thank you for posting the link. Yay! I think I saw the picture of you, Crackle Moon, as Katara. I think. But I would love to see it again. Just because I feel like I saw a glimpse of it and I was like, whoa, dude, she goes to cons? Yes. It's so nice to be back in touch with you. It really is. You are cool people. You are. I've always thought you were cool. I keep hearing myself echo back into the microphone, and I know I've mentioned this in the last stream, but like it's very distracting to hear my own voice talk back to me like 10 seconds later. I'm like, oh, what are you doing, voice? Please stop doing that. I don't like listening to you. I mean, who likes listening to their own voice? Honestly. This little mic is scales. I have a different my own fan fiction of this guy. Um, there was a character I had made that was, I think I played her once or twice. She was basically her design was a unicorn girl, and her name was Gwen. Ugh, this music. Okay, music. We're changing you. No, 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 no. Okay, this is better music. Um, so Gwen, was it Guinevere? Yeah, I think it was Guinevere was her name. She was a unicorn girl, but she basically was like, I made her sorcerer, but I paired her up in my own headcanon with Micah because he's dragon guy and she's a unicorn girl, and I'm like, aw, they're just like the cutest couple, and I like drawing just pictures of them, even though there's um no basis for there's no reality where they are together, but um yeah, I like my own. I think it's weird writing fan fiction about your own characters, and it's like I get it for characters that exist in the world, but like these are my own characters. Why am I writing fan fiction about them? Mm. I can write whatever I want. I can draw whatever I want. Art police aren't gonna come after me. Yeah. And if they do, I'd be like, wait, the art police are real? And Luke has goat soda because his um his gnome girlfriend has magical fairy goats, and I feel like one of them gives soda out their udders. I've decided that tonight. That's a thing that exists now. I don't know what goat soda tastes like, but I imagine it goes very well with Cheetos and cookies. He's swagging. Yeah, the inked lines do look a little bit better on screen, but it still looks still wonky on camera. Well, again, it's imperfect. Whatever. Whatever. Again, you guys don't have to be here. If you choose to be here, that's awesome. I'm going to do this regardless, even if nobody shows up. And this is not a place that anyone's taking attendance. So you show up when you want to, stay however long you want to, participate only if you want to. It's all about what feels good to you. And if you're doing this just to support me, like, thank you. But if you genuinely like want to support me and you're not having a good time here, you can support me in other ways. There's no obligation for you to have to, you know, hang out here if it's not fun. Not that anybody has been like hinting at that. This is just one of those streams one of those types of videos that you just put on, zone out, and relax. You don't have to pay attention to nothing. You don't have to know what's going on. You don't even have to look at the screen. But if you do look at the screen, you just see some silly picture just line by line coming together, and my hand and pen with my bent middle finger. You see it? It's bent. My middle finger is like, get bent. So while you're zoning out, while you're just relaxing, while you're just listening, take a moment to roll out your shoulders, to sit up straight, stretch out your lower back. Roll your neck from side to side and unclench your jaw. Wiggle your eyebrows and release your forehead. Let that tension out. Doesn't matter if you're watching this in the middle of the day, or if it's on the middle of the night, or just an evening, or whatever. You can always stretch and relax. That's never a wrong choice. If you have something to drink, take a drink, take a sip. Alyssa is very mad. She's like, "Hey, you're a vampire. I don't like you." I'm so mad. And she's like, "Hey, I'm a vampire, that's right. I don't care what you think, priest lady. Hey, I'm crazy. I'm a Malkavian. Well, I'm not even from your universe." So confrontational. So catty. Bleh. Thank you for stopping by, Celtic Wolf Queen. I absolutely appreciate you popping in, and good luck with your modding, with all the other stuff that you're doing. I know that people are busy, and I do not expect anyone to come in and hang out the whole time. I'm just literally drawing for over 2 hours, so come in and go as you please. This is not mandatory. There won't be a test later on. There's no pop quiz. Nope. It's all low stakes, just hanging out. Hanging out. Hanging out with my family. Having ourselves a party. If anyone gets that Riff Tracks reference, then I am sorry. Oh my gosh, retro 80s. Retro 80s. That's one of my favorite themes. Yes. Oh, makes me want to put on my strawberry shortcake cosplay. Well, I hope people behave in that chat. So that you don't have to do a lot of modding. You can just do a lot of, listening and enjoying. And not a lot of, hey, behave. Children, behave. Oh, my centaur, Eleonora. You're cool. You're so cool, Eleonora. What the heck I'm doing with her face there. There we go. Yeah, that will be clear. Like, ugh, come on, guys. No, fighting. Eleanor is here, modding between characters. Ugh. Kicking and kicking, punching. That's mad. Redo Peggy's face here. Peggy was cool. She was definitely a cool Battletech character. She piloted a Scorpion which is one of the quad mechs, which you don't see as often. A lot of people are biased against them. They don't like quad mechs. They underrate them. But she was also a mechanic. So she'd be working in the mech bays, repairing after battles and boosting and doing all that stuff. So that's fun. Oh, baby. You didn't survive very long. But at least I got to play you a few times. Raquel was a very sweet character, too. I did stuff with her. I don't have a lot of... She's very innocent, very, she has high ideals, but very naive about the world, about fairness, about, people's nature, which was something I liked about her, but also something that was very frustrating, because she's a character that trusted too much and then was let down a lot. Because, that's how innocence can be when there's too much innocence. The world isn't good on people like that. And that's a part that I did identify with this character. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty naive sometimes. A lot of times. I don't remember what this little creature's name was. But I remember she had a little sloth-like guy hanging off her shoulder. He's kind of like a porcupine, kind of like a sloth. And he had these big, bulging, derpy eyes. And Pokemon was still pretty new when I created her. So it was one of those like, oh yeah, you just want Pokemon on your character. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of just do. But she was just super sweet. And I did bring her back for a couple of, for at least one game. And she was a little bit different of her personality, but and she was an NPC, so I didn't even actually play her. But she did come back in a game, and she was an Asimar, so she was like a half celestial in that reincarnation. In other words, the previous incarnation, she was just a albino human. Yeah, directly. I agree. The thing does that is rough working in analog media and traditional art is that there is no undoing. Once you start inking, you either get white paint or you find ways to work around it. And honestly, that's kind of what I like about it. It like eh, having um digital art, there's always that option of like closer to perfect and closer to perfect, and you can always work on it and work on it and work on it, and you can take forever on it, undo, and it doing this with analog kind of helps me embrace imperfections, which I get why people don't want to do that. I get why it's people want to be like, no, no, I want it closer to what's in my brain. But I mean, again, I've mentioned before, I just don't have the ambition to learn how to do digital art, and I fully appreciate the medium, like the fact that people can use it to make so many beautiful creations, and people do put in the work to improve their skill and improve their craft. And there's all different kinds of programs to modify works and all the different brushes and all the different colors and all the different textures. And I think that's super cool. And the fact that you can layer things and shade things, and there's so many options that you don't have. Like, if I were to color this, which I'm not doing tonight because, oh my gosh, it's already been 3 hours almost. Um, then I only have limited amount of markers and pencils to work from. But with digital art, you can just tweak the colors. You can pick whatever you want, whatever shade, whatever. There's that color wheel. you can you have so many options, and I think that's awesome. But for me, it traditional art or trad art, which I've heard it called lately, um, keeps me um, keeps me grounded in imperfections. So, and that's kind of what I want to embrace in these streams is, yeah, it's okay to do it wrong. It's okay to mess up. Yeah, it is rough on OCD. Um, but I think OCD is more prevalent because people expect perfection from themselves and from the world. That's just a theory of mine. It could be just something that you have, but I feel like there's probably something to it that people expect perfect from you or expect this and that, and you start expecting it from yourself, which I like. There's no easy way to stop that. Like, it does really become a thing. It becomes a huge part of your life. And I'm not trying to undersell that at all. I absolutely, it's rough. And I feel for people who are um, dealing with that. Yeah. It my focus is bleh at this point. At least for words. One thing I learned from my last art stream, which was my very first art stream, is that YouTube videos, like when you want to upload a video to YouTube, wow, it takes a very long time. Like the last one was like 2.5 hours, and it took like 9 to 12 hours for it to upload. Yeah, it's a long, long time. So, this one's already 3 hours, and I'm not quite done yet. Yeah, this one is definitely only going to be black and white tonight. And next week, like I said, I mentioned earlier, and I'm sure, I don't know who's in chat. I don't, like I said, we're not taking attendance. Next week, I'm going to be taking 5-minute sketch requests. So, if you have ideas, drop them in the Discord. So I'll have stuff to start with. And then if you want to come in, pop in chat and give me ideas or give me suggestions, and I will draw them 5 minutes a piece. They're probably either going to be just pencil, but I might ink them too. We'll see. We'll see how that goes, where the inspiration takes us. Oh my gosh. This music is a no. No. Move on. I hope you've all enjoyed learning a little bit about my characters, my role-playing stories, my silly little guys. I've been enjoying going down memory lane talking about them, and I've been enjoying drawing them too. Baby isn't that old of a character. I mean, with a name like Baby, but I played her and lost her not very long ago. Melted by a black dragon. Most unfortunate. And I have a paladin that I'm going to be, not, yeah, it's paladin that it's going to be replacing her. And I just have not had the chance to start playing him yet. I did for a while play a bard, but she was not the right fit for the setting. We were like fighting hobgoblins and stuff, and she's like, I'm a street performer. And I'm like, yeah, why did I choose this character? Bad choice. I mean, she's a cool character, don't get me wrong, but she's not the right fit for the setting. artificial intelligence. I have the opposite. I have authentic stupidity. Very real dumbness. And it's right here on the page for all of you to see, to come to life. My artificial, my authentic dumbness. Oh, Bunny. Bunny, Bunny, Bunny. Yes, again, a well-named character. Bunny. I am so good at names. First, I should have drawn my first character, D&D, somewhere in this picture. I'm like, come on. What a name. I named you D&D. What is wrong with me? Oh boy. I screwed her eye up a little bit. Whatever. I screwed a lot of these up a little bit, but fitting 15 characters on a page, unable to like zoom in. I can't zoom in anywhere here. That's it. You get what you get. I am going to off camera, going to erase the pencil lines, and I'm gonna put up last week's. You know what? Yeah, I'll put up something. Oh, it's gonna make an erasing page. Where's my stuff? Oh my goodness. Oh, I'll put this up. There we go. Happy Mother's Day. Stick. It doesn't want to stick. All right. I know I'm going to be just shaking the whole thing with my erasing. Is this picture finished? No. Will I be finishing it on camera? Also, no. Will I be finishing coloring it later? Maybe. We'll find out. if I have the ambition. It turned out way more involved than I intended. And that was partly because I was like on a roll, putting all these extra characters in the background that weren't originally in my plan. But I got excited. I wanted to include them. I didn't want to leave them out. But I have so many gosh darn characters. Someone's definitely kind of getting left out. Sorry, guys. Sorry. All right. Here we go. It's not... Does that look better? Let's... Oh. Excuse my reach. That might look a little better. Yeah, a little bit more upright there, a little bit clearer. There we go. And here we have Zionchek, Gotcha, Luke, Micah, Barbie, Ophelia, Tova, Erlissa, Eleonora, Audrey, Chigao, Raquel, Peggy, Baby, and Bunny. And those are my role-playing characters. I hope that you guys had fun or feel more relaxed after watching some of that come to fruition. And I'm really glad that you guys got to come and spend some time with me. Whether you were here for like 2 seconds or you're gonna rewatch it on YouTube upload, or if you just came in at the end, or yeah, it doesn't. If you're watching this on any capacity, I genuinely appreciate it. And on that note, I hope that you guys have a very nice night. I hope you guys have a very nice weekend. And send me some ideas for 5-minute sketches, and I'm gonna be here hopefully next Thursday drawing more stuff and hanging out again. All right. On that, thank you so much. And have a good one. Bye.